that you're kind of like, well, why are we here, right? Because this could have been an email, or this could have been, something else, or didn't you read the report, or something like that. So I like to dig into that a little bit more, and we'll talk about we'll just kind of talk about the concept and really why that happens, and talk about what you can do about it to really maybe free up some more of your time and get some more time back in your day. So let's kind of get into it. Let's talk about really why do we have meetings, right? Why do we have meetings? Usually a meeting happens because you want to know something, or somebody somewhere wants to know something, right? You're not delivering as fast as you think you should, or management thinks that things are moving too slow. You're blocked on something, and you don't really understand why, and or you've made an investment in a new process and things aren't really getting better, and you kind of you say, well, we just spent all this money and all this time and all this effort improving our processes, but things aren't any different. Or maybe you've got a new process, or new hires, or new teams, and you got to have those kind of organizational meetings to really understand what's happening, and to really understand the process, and uncover more information, right? That's ultimately where meetings come from. Now, that's maybe looking at it through rose-colored glasses a little bit, right? Because we still have our meetings where we say, this could have, we didn't really need to have this meeting, right? But still, ultimately, theoretically, that's where meetings come from. Is somebody somewhere needs to know some information, and usually an efficient way of asking questions and drawing out that information is just to have a meeting. Or you have a meeting and you say, well, let's have a follow-on meeting to discuss this a little bit more. We've kind of covered the surface level in this meeting, and now we need to have another meeting to talk a little bit deeper about that issue. Or maybe we need to take this to the parking lot. Everybody's favorite phrase right there. Let's take this to the parking lot, or let's parking lot that issue for now, and have another meeting later about it, right? So really, again, it's all about somebody needs some information, right? And they're trying to understand what's happening. So to make that better, I'll position this to you is in order to help with that process, how can you get more information? How can you get the right information into the arms of whoever's needing it, into your management or your management's management, right? Or even just to your team, getting it downstream as well, getting the right information down to the development level so that they can report back what you need them to report. There's all these philosophical conversations we can have about communication and senders and receivers of messages, and making sure that you're communicating in the way that the receiver will accept it, right? And that they're communicating with you in a way that makes sense to you. But it can. There are other things that can help with that too. There are soft skills like that, of course, in the way that you communicate. Those definitely help, right? Those are good for everybody to learn anyway. But there's other things you can do too around. I'm not going to say tooling is the answer, but there's ways to get that information a bit better too. Now, if you're thinking about something like a software process, and you're thinking about the development process, and how things come in through a feature request and get built out, then ultimately get into some sort of testing and development testing and build phase, then you think about all the manual processes that happen along that way, about the different tools that people use, right? And you think about when you want to start trying to understand that process and start trying to get more information, you could schedule a meeting with the people who have those tools or who work in those tools, right? Okay, so Miss Developer, tell me, give me this report about your work, right? And any blockers that you have, or even going down further along the line, what's our build success rate? We got to go into those tools to kind of get those things. Or you could have one person that goes along from tool to tool to tool and gathers a report together. You go and you start at the top level and they log into Clarity and get the initiatives out of there, and then they log into Jira and get the stories and epics out of there, and then they have to log into go look at reports from Jenkins and get build statuses from there. And you have one person that could go and collect that information for you, right? Either way, what's happening here is that, again, it's about somebody's taking time to do it. Whether you've got somebody going to those different tools to get that information, or you're scheduling meetings with these different people to get that information, it's all a very manual effort. That meeting is still a manual effort. It still takes hours to do that. It still takes time out of the day to do that. A lot of times, whenever you manually build reports from different tools and correlate it all together, by the time you've done that, it's a couple weeks down the road, and that data is now stale. And you're kind of reacting too late to the things that are happening. So what I'll say is, imagine if you could get all that in real time and not have to collect it, right? And not have to log into each different application, and you could see exactly what's happening. And for that, let me go ahead and I'll share my screen here. So imagine that you could get, there we go. Yep, that's the right one. Imagine that you could just go log into someplace and see at a high level, everything that's happening. See at a high level where your bottlenecks are across all your different applications and processes. See where you're spending the time in that. And then imagine being able to go down and look and see where people are spending their work and how old issues are. Again, looking at it at a high level from multiple tools in a centralized location, being able to see exactly what people are working on and where their bottlenecks are with that. Imagine being able to look at a different view and actually see some hierarchical kind of view and actually look for a specific initiative and being able to drill down into an initiative and see the epics and stories and everything that comes out of that, and everything that's related to that, being able to see that in one place. That's where you can start to automate this governance. You can have these processes in place that go from tool to tool. You can have that governance trying to organize everything and trying to get that information. But still, you've got these meetings that you have to have to digest that information, to report on that information. And what I'd say here is that by using something like Insights and being able to collect all that kind of information from these different places, you can use these common data models to just funnel that information right there, and then you can. And then what that does is it gives you a live view of things as they're happening, being able to see downstream and see where the blockers might exist. I can see right here, this particular initiative has a defect all the way down here, and it came from this test, and it was against this story. And that's coming from different tools. That's coming from our PPM tool up here at the initiative, and then our planning tools right here with the epics and stories, our QA tools right here with the tested defects, and being able to kind of tie that all together right here into one centralized report. So that's the idea here is being able to take that next step and being able to automate some of those processes that you may have, so that you can ultimately, maybe you can get rid of some meetings. You go to the meetings that you have, you attend with more information. You've got the reports that you need. You've got the information at your fingertips so that you can attend these meetings more informed. Now, it all starts right there from the top. It all starts with some sort of value stream assessment and being able to first, of course, understand what you have and understand your process, kind of laying out your process like this and understanding the flow of information, how the flow happens from tool to tool and process to process and team to team, and really getting an idea of how that works. Once you kind of understand that, once you can immediately start to identify bottlenecks in a process like this. You can identify those bottlenecks, identify the manual steps that you're taking, and then take steps to automate those as well. So by automating that, and automating the reporting and everything, the gathering information as well, that can really streamline your process, make them much more efficient, and again, help you get some time back in your day, hopefully, so you can go in and just look at a dashboard and see all the blockers on something, rather than having to schedule different meetings just to get that information. You start to really then dig into, well, why is that a blocker, rather than what is the blocker? Why are these blockers, right? You start to ask deeper questions about them, rather than spending time on just the reporting of that information. So that's what I wanted to share today. I wanted to just talk about, why we have meetings, and really it's that lack of information that we have. And when we lack information, we want to talk to people and try to understand more about why problems might exist. And so we, it's innocent enough wanting to sit down with folks and talk to them and really get an idea of what's happening. But we can make that process much more efficient and give everybody some more time back in the day, whenever we can start to collect all this information and centralize it in real time, so that we can then come to our meetings with more information and make much more efficient use of our time. So again, I appreciate you joining today. My name's Johnathan McGowan, and if you'd like to see more, if you'd like to learn more about ConnectALL and what ConnectALL can do to help you, feel free to email us at sales@connectall.com. You can go to our website and see the many different things that we do. But we'd be happy to talk with you and talk to you about value stream management, and maybe even offer you an assessment to help you begin your journey of managing that value stream. With that, hope you have a great day, and thank you again for joining us. See you next time.